Hey, what's up, and welcome to this episode of EST, the podcast for established church leaders by established church leaders. My name is Josh.
My name is Sam, and I'm not the least bit intimidated by our guest.
You're not?
No,
Well, that's good.
no.
We shouldn't
Because
be intimidated.
Boyd helps people not be intimidated by technology. And he's going to explain everything for all of you listeners. Like literally everything. Every problem you have, Boyd Pelley, he can solve. He can do it.
Okay, let's go then. All right, so the answer is Jesus.
That's
right. Oh, man. Got the Jesus juke in there. I love
you
it.
did?
I
Well, you
love
set it up. What else am I going to do?
Right.
Go to
You know what?
Jesus.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We've got Boyd Pelley of Churchteams on the show today, and he's going to be talking about just technology, how it can be intimidating. Obviously, Churchteams is a sponsor of this show. We love bringing Boyd on the show because he's so knowledgeable and he's so helpful, and his company is very helpful. And Boyd, I know you've got a new user interface as well, and you're offering money to people. Tell us about this.
Yeah, well, so we, on October 1st, released a brand new user interface. And we want to show it, especially to the ST crowd. And to kind of motivate that, we want to do a $20 Amazon gift card for the first 15 people who sign up. And then anybody who uses Churchteams, we're going to give a 3-month free, which we've never done that before. But it's because we love EST. We love you guys. We love the your group that we're going to do that. So that way we'll just show everybody in about 30 minutes a quick refresh, brand new view of what we've been doing.
And that's great. So this is a demo on November the 7th at 3:30 Eastern. And did I get that right?
You got it. Yeah.
All right.
That's exactly right.
And the way that you can register is at est.church. Just go to est.church. It's already live. Go there, register. You're going to get 3 months free if you sign up, which is unbelievable. That's an incredible deal. And an Amazon gift card, $20 Amazon gift card. So you've got there's no risk. There's no risk. There's only reward for this. So I think it's a great incentive, Boyd. You're being very generous. Obviously, you want people to sign up for Churchteams. We want people to sign up for Churchteams. But I just want to say thank you for doing business in this way because it's really helpful to our pastors and it makes it worth their time to like, okay, I'm going to go check this out. I'm going to get a gift card and, I just want to say thank you. Yeah, half an hour. 20, I mean, that's $40 an hour. That's, in terms of an hourly rate, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's great.
So anyway, est.church, go sign up for that. Boyd's here, though, to talk about this intimidation factor with technology. Boyd, I know you deal with this all the time. Yeah. So walk us through this, okay, you've got this new system, project management, texting, giving, online giving. I don't know how to use it. To me, that's the biggest thing is I'm signing up for this thing. I don't know how to use it. Help us understand how you deal with that intimidation factor.
Well, you know what? First of all, I think it's helpful to understand that people like consistency and routine. They don't like change. Most people are kind of wired that way. I think one thing unique about pastors and churches is we tend to be a little slow to change. Not everybody, but we tend to be. And if I think about that, there's some pretty good reason. I mean, our view of the world is based on an ancient view that's founded on Scripture. So we tend to base our lives more on the teachings of Jesus that are in the past. And so our orientation is around looking at Scripture and doing things that are past oriented. So new things, we might be a little slower for good reason. For good reason, a lot of times to do that. So we get that, right? And that's the first thing. We understand that that's who we are as a church. That's how we are. We want to be careful. We need to do that. But also, I think I know pastors are uncertain. This is new area. I mean, they saw the news with the cybersecurity breach of whatever the last wherever was. And so they're really uncertain about that. That makes you nervous. It makes you uncertain about what are we going to do. And we hear this all the time. People ask us about cybersecurity, different vulnerabilities, all that kind of stuff. Now, most pastors are not like business people who have a cybersecurity team behind them that are underneath them, that are giving them the confidence that they know is thinking about this stuff. They don't. And so what we want to do is help pastors understand that's what we do. We are your cybersecurity team. You've got those a list of names on a spreadsheet on your computer that's hooked to the internet. The only wall between the internet and you is your password on there. With us, we've got a whole team. We've got all kinds of things that are watching your data to make sure it's safe and secure. So that's one thing we want to help people do is understand that it is safe. And there's our protocol after protocol after protocol. It's a major part of what we do, but it's underneath, and people don't see that. So that's a big deal.
One of the things that I have noticed is even if the pastor is on board, and maybe the security is an issue there, related to that is the intimidation factor on maybe the church staff or some volunteer that's going to be helping to manage this. And those are different related intimidations, not necessarily the security. Boyd, what would you say to, let's say, a church secretary who is now going to be, she's not doing the book anymore that has the 3-ring binder that has people's name on it, literally in rows. What does that intimidation look like, and how do you answer that?
Yeah, well, it's a real deal. It is a real deal, especially for some of the older generations. I mean, there are people that have their eye on the ball. I'm out of here next June 30th, whatever that is. And you're not going to change me over my dead body or whatever like that. And how many churches have somebody that's been around and been the church secretary for the last 15, 20 years? You got a young pastor coming in trying to do something different. So what we want to do is we want to help them manage that change process with that secretary, with that assistant, by coming alongside. Understanding that a lot of times the fear of technology is nobody else is around. I don't know how to do it. I've got to send an email. I've got to look through all this documentation. And what they really want is somebody just to call and a personal thing. And that's pretty rare on the technology side. So we want to do whatever we can. I invite pastors all the time, say, when you're looking at church teams, bring your admin. Let them be a part of the decision-making process so that they're not left out and they can ask their questions in that same circle. Because frankly, a lot of times their job is more based on the data than yours is, but you're feeding back into it. So I think being loving, concerning, valuing them is the way to go into it. And then, at some point, they're just not going to change. Sometimes there can be, we see this one a lot, there can be gradual adoption. The financial person that's used to keeping track of all the checks and cash in a certain way, they maintain part of that process. And then somebody else does a quick data entry, or with online giving that automatically posts does a data entry for you. Or maybe wait 6 months until you start using that part of the software. So there's a lot of different ways for different churches.
Yeah.
How do you keep up with all of these changes, Boyd? Because I mean, it was not even a year ago, and it was like AI is going to be everything. And the news now is anything made in China that's electronic can be spying on you. The Biden administration just came out with, we're not letting Chinese software in cars. I mean, there's so much. How do you stay on top of all of this for your company and for the churches that you serve?
Yeah, well, a couple of thoughts. I mean, when we're talking about this, it was only a few weeks ago that all those pagers and phones blew up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing, right? So
And for those who are not listening, that's what happened to Hezbollah, and we believe obviously done by the Israeli
Israelis.
military. Yeah, it's now they've now weaponized technology. Used to be you'd weaponize technology by spying on people. Now you're making technology like actual weapons. It's just
I mean,
crazy. So
that's crazy.
I know. So
Uh,
what do you and
so
your company do without? I know you don't want to reveal your secret sauce, but you know what? what do you do to like stay on top of all these changes?
So, couple of things. Okay, one, we're like you guys. I'm more like you guys. I read, I see stuff. I listen to blogs. I podcasts. I listen to blogs. I read blogs. I listen to podcasts. Whatever on that. I did a little bit of reading, but really the key thing for us at another level is our technology team. These are folks that grew up in that technology world. They've studied, they know what they actually read the journals. They read the releases from Google. They understand the stuff that's coming from Microsoft. They're deeply integrated into like the financial transaction world to understand how payment processing works and all the details behind it. They're getting notifications from the companies that do that most of us would never really do see those. Same with the telecoms, all of that kind of stuff. So that's who I really rely on. Is especially Mark, my partner, who's a team lead on that side of the things. He'll come in and he'll bring us aware. Hey guys, this is coming up. Here's the potential of that. That probably would be the distinctive thing. Is how our tech team helps us to kind of keep on top of that and have discussions. So.
Well, I don't know if this is important to our listeners or not, but American owned, American operated. That's what you're doing. And in today's, just how tense everything is geopolitically, I'll just speak for myself. That's important to me to know that the technology that is running my church is American owned, American operated. And I think that's an important distinctive that you guys have.
And to your point, Sam, all the time people are calling and saying, "Hey, you want to outsource your coding to India, to some other place?" There's whole companies overseas that target the United States because you can get cheaper programmers and do things like that. Well, who knows what that means, right?
Yeah.
And we've just decided we're not going that route.
Here recently, I was talking to a group here at our church. We are working on our bylaws, and we had a whole conversation about user interface with bylaws. We were just kind of stealing some software language there to talk about how your regular member, they don't think about the bylaws a whole lot. Maybe when they're looking for a new pastor, a couple of the committees might think about the bylaws twice a year. When like, what's the bylaw say about this? But pastors and staff, we think about the bylaws very regularly because they are sort of the blueprint for what we do. User interface matters the way that we do. My understanding is you guys have a brand new user interface. And so we thought it'd be good if you told some of our listeners about that new user interface and how that actually helps. And it's a decision factor. You can go to church software websites and they can all look shiny and clean. But then when you look at the actual software, it's like, wait, this doesn't look anything like that website. So talk us through yours and what's new.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to picture your bylaws in like a Roboto font with not quite a hard black, but a light gray-ish kind of thing.
Don't put that past me. It will happen.
That will pull all the people in. Thanks for asking, because that really is something we've been working on for quite a while. And just thinking about that, part of it, the reason we do a new user interface is because technology is always advancing. I mean, we have so many new features and things that we've done in the last 5, 6, 7 years since we've done a user interface, that there's a lot more stuff there. Now it's even more important that everything's optimized for mobile because everybody's using mobile. And for us, some of the other things that we gave a lot of attention to is clutter. It's kind of like your house or your church. After a while, over time, stuff just kind of gets put in there. And most of us just will tend to overlook it. And so we wanted to reduce some clutter. In a user interface, that means more white space. So it feels more open. It means brighter colors. So it's more light, some things like that. I mean, these are things that we thought of that went into the user interface. Instead of edges on hard edges with dark colors on fields, they might be more rounded and a little bit black. The idea there is it just has a little bit more safe, comfortable feeling, like going into a home or a restaurant, or a church that's, kind of had to do a little refresh. And I bet you guys do that regularly. And then there's the other thing that kind of has fit into this for us is some of the cultural changes. Like it used to be menus for an app were on the top. Now that's all changed. It's on the side. And so much stuff's on the side. So there's trends like that we're aware of, that we began implementing into our user interfaces, and making it convenient so that all the features, especially related data that a church wants, are all in one place. And it's manageable. It's not as cluttered. A lot of times churches have the same features, but they might be 3 or 4 different applications. And so that's a little difficult sometimes to manage. So that goes with the technology changes that we've tried to work on to help churches be able to do that. And then the other thing, this is right to you guys' point, is with younger generations coming into leadership in churches, they just expect it.
Yeah.
They just expect it. This is how it's supposed to be. So we gotta stay on top of that.
I think of technology kind of the way I do a church building. So there's an intimidation factor when you walk into a new building. You don't know where you are. This established church has had 5 different building campaigns over 80 years. All of these hallways are disjointed, and you think you know where you are, but you don't. Where's the bathroom? Where does this go? Oh, I'm in the wrong hallway. There is a level of being intimidated just by being in the building and not knowing where you are. And what I love about your new user interface is when you walk in, you know where you are. Yeah. And that can't, sometimes technology gets overladen with too many things. And it's like that church building that they didn't really think through the master plan, which they wouldn't have because it was built over the last 100 years, and people struggle to navigate. Your technology, and this is what I love about it, is you can navigate through church teams. Yeah. And whether it's the lead pastor using it primarily, a sole pastor, or an administrative assistant, somebody younger or older, you've created this building where everyone knows where they are.
Yeah. Where there's good signage in the building kind of thing, that you kind of know where you're going to go, makes it fairly easy to use, points the direction, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's good.
Well, tell us a little bit about, we want people to join you for this demo. So 30 minutes, November the 7th, 3:30 Eastern. Make sure you get that 3:30 Eastern. You can sign up at est.church, and the first 15, the first 15 will get a $20 Amazon gift card. Make sure I get those numbers right. So if you're among the first 15 and get that gift card, makes it worth your while. Give us just a little bit about, all right, hey, I'm interested. I just want the gift card. I'm going to be there. What should people expect for those 30 minutes?
Yeah, and you know what? Even if you are totally happy with your church management software, okay, that may not even be something you're thinking about or have thought about. It doesn't hurt to stay aware and to see kind of what else is out there. So that would be one of my points. It's not just that, but I tell you what, one of the things that we've been thinking about, we've thought about the last 6 to 9 months, that every church has or needs to have is a website. So some of these same ideas for user interface, some of those exact same ideas are really important for churches thinking about websites. Like if somebody who doesn't go to your church goes to your website, what will they see? How will they feel? So that is another kind of component for almost every pastor needs to at least be aware of some of the design things, some of the user interface concept, and be able to do that to optimize the websites. And what's been really fun for us is we've just now started offering websites to be able to help churches. We found a brilliant design company that does designs for very large churches, and they wanted to be able to help other churches. And so we partnered alongside them and are able to kind of bring that as part of what Church Teams does. So that's the other thing for them. And then you're going to have some people that, I know we've got a database, but didn't we get that in 1997 and it's on that computer over there?
Mhm.
And so that's the only one. Well, to that guy or to that person, it might be super helpful to see, okay, here's what a cloud-based system could look like and how different it is from that and the different functionalities that are in there. And in there, we'll share some ideas that we've developed on how to use technology to do everything from outreach, connecting with people through all the ways that we do outreach, through the assimilation process, walk them from being separated to a point of being curious. How do we develop that? That we call marketing. And then once they're curious and they come the first time, how can we help them with our follow-up to assimilate, to learn more about what it's part to be a member of the body of Christ, to know Christ, and then how to fully engage and how technology can be used to undergird that whole discipleship from outreach to engagement process. It's kind of fun. And I'll give you guys, and I'll give whoever's on that call just a quick overview of our thinking and process on that.
Yeah, that sounds great. A lot of pastors are looking for ways to, think through that or to have automation to some of those steps and processes. And this is exactly what can be there. In fact, for a lot of people, church software feels like I don't have the team to run that. And it's actually the reverse. Because you don't have a team, you ought to think of software.
That's right, Josh.
That is a great point, Josh. And for our listeners, again, this is November the 7th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up at est.church. And for the first 15 registrants, you get a $20 Amazon gift card. And Boyd's just going to you're going to want to get to know Boyd anyway. If you're just there, I want to just get to know Boyd. Then that you should go. You should go. And so we always want to put the best solutions into the ears of our audience, if you're listening, or maybe the eyes if you're tuning in on YouTube. Hey guys, and we certainly appreciate Boyd Pelley being with us here today from Church Teams. And again, you can sign up for this demo at est.church.
Thanks, guys. Always love being with you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening today. Boyd, thank you for being on the show. A lot of great information there. We hope that our listeners picked up a lot from that. And we will catch you next week.